thought about why there are certain neighborhoods that are the good neighborhoods and the other ones that are the bad neighborhoods, right? So the bad neighborhoods are the ones where they say, you know, Simba, don't go there, right? Where the hyenas live, right? From the Lion King. What I'd like to just share with you is that all human behavior is goal-directed, and we're all responding to a particular context, right? So as the context changes, so do we. We adapt and shape to that context. And so all human behavior is goal-directed, which means we must understand the goals. What we also must understand is that we're responding to the environments that we are in, that the goals are basically a response to those things. And that there are very few things that are accidental, particularly as when they involve human beings. And so when we think about why things exist, it is because we are made. And we must recognize that as human beings, the things that we make are temporary. That the things that we make need maintenance, they need shaping, they need care. And so when we look at or think about our communities, what we must recognize is that our communities are not formed by accident, that they are in fact purposefully driven, and that race and racism oftentimes have been the driving factors for the creation of our neighborhoods. We understand that there is typically in most communities there are circles or rings of where affluence lives and where poverty lives. And more often than not, those are based on some historic events that typically we refer to as redlining. And redlining was a process that was undertaken by the FHA, the Federal Housing Administration, to carve out places for low income or high risk loans and better risk loans. Those loans actually happen along racial lines. And as an effect, many loans were given to white and suburban areas that were seen as low risk, and loans were not given, or high risk loans were given to low income or mixed neighborhoods. And so suburbs were being reinforced, were being established with this kind of racial construct as a part of it. And so when we look at immigrants, refugees, where do they typically fall? In some of those very historic places where redlining occurred. And so our newest immigrants oftentimes find themselves in low-income neighborhoods. And one of the things that we know is that poverty oftentimes breeds poverty, right? The ability to escape or move out of poverty comes when one has the adequate resources to get out of poverty. And so those bad neighborhoods did not happen by themselves. They were a construct of the local, county, city, and even, I would say, state and federal governments that allowed these redlining opportunities to occur to reinforce some of these old racial stereotypes. What do we know about our public school system is that they are funded off of property taxes. And what happens if a community has low property taxes? I would imagine, and I hope you can see the correlation, that they also may have low or underperforming schools. Not 100% of the time there are shining stars, but for the majority of our public education system, property taxes are the way that they're funded. And so it's important to realize the impact that redlining has had in terms of allowing people to engage in this great republic. And so this exhibit talks about the color of money and how does money manifest, and and I believe that race becomes a proxy for talking about equity and inequity, but we would rather talk about race than we would actually about the systems of inequality. All right, we'll see you at our next stop.